So part of my day job is talking to people from around the planet as it relates to fly fishing. And when the topic of steelhead comes up, I always get excited. I love to catch steelhead. Sometimes people ask me, how can I catch more steelhead? And my question back to them is, well, what type of water are you fishing in? And if the answer is smaller streams or tighter water, then I always say, go nymph fishing for them. Sometimes it's not very practical or functional to try to swing a fly in such a tight run. So to nymph fish is a really good choice. Added to it, a lot of the smaller streams have more common holding water, like a ledge or an edge or a trough, someplace where the fish will literally stack up in number. If you do fish smaller water, and there are steelhead in there, I highly recommend you practice nymph fishing. So let me give you a few tips on it. First, you want to locate that good-looking holding water. It should be pretty obvious to you. It's not going to be the riffle water. It's going to be something with a little bit more depth and a little bit deeper color to it. That's where your fish are going to be. So then the next question is, well, how do you catch the fish? My answer is I use a term called battleship. Now most people know the game of battleship, where you're kind of calling out numbers and letters and such until you find something that works. That's what I do when I nymph fish. Most people are going to nymph fish with an indicator. That's a good idea. Don't care which type it is. But what I'm getting at is this. What you can control certainly is the fly or flies you put on. Most people have their own ideas what the best fly is. Just be aware you can control the size and the shade of the fly and the silhouette of the fly, whether it's bulky or thin. Do your best there, figure out what's probably going to work best in your river. But the other two factors really when you're nymph fishing is this, the length of the leader from the indicator to the fly. That relates to the depth of the water, as well as the amount of weight you might put on, split shot or tape lead or whatever you use to sink your nymphs down deeper. Start somewhere, even if you don't know what you're doing, and adjust though. If the water looks good and you're not hooking fish, maybe try a bit more weight, put it deeper. Eventually though, something's gonna work. You're gonna hook a fish. And when that happens, don't leave the run. On smaller streams, that's usually where the fish are stacked in. Chances are there's more behind the first fish. While you're doing this, the one thing you always want to concentrate on is getting a dead drift or a natural drift. And the best way to do that after you make your cast is really remember to adjust your fly line on the water. Just watch that indicator. If it's dragging, reposition the fly line. And what you'll then end up with is a nice smooth drift of your indicator, and that's going to represent a smooth drift of your flies down below, natural. Great, so you've caught some fish on the run, you move to the next run. Every run's a little bit different in speed and depth. Remember the game of battleship. Don't just use the same rig on the next hole. Go through the same process. Adjust leader length, fiddle with the weight as it relates to depth, maybe change a fly or two. Once you hook that first fish on that small steelhead stream, look for more in the same run. That's the tip for today. Happy fishing out there. Catch some steelhead.